Hey there, kerbonauts. This is Dauntless Sam with Reach for the Stars. Today, we're launching for the moon. Let's hope this crazy contraption can even get off the ground. We've got Jimble in the pilot seat. He's all on his own, headed towards the moon. So here we go. We will launch in 3, 2, 1, launch. We have liftoff. And with actually quite a bit of thrust. Does not look bad. And we are burning through quite a lot of fuel. Man, look at that solid fuel drop. Fortunately, we will drop the solid tanks before we drop any of the liquid tanks. It would be unfortunate for the solid tanks to run out after some of the liquid tanks, because then we would just be carrying more dead weight, since the solid rocket boosters are attached to the liquid tanks. And lost those. We blew something up. I think we lost a couple of those boosters after a bit, but we're getting somewhere. And we're just about to lose 2 sets of boosters. Gone, dropping them. All the way up to 100% throttle. Luckily we still have reaction control wheels, even though we dropped a couple sets with the boosters. We just passed 10 kilometers, so we've got to turn this rocket over. Though not too quickly, because it's really easy to lose control of it. We are still accelerating, if ever so slightly. So we've got to keep pointing a bit more up than over. Here we are. We're about halfway to 45. Continue to turn over the rocket. But not too quick. Don't need it to flip over. Now we're really starting to see some boost here. Got a 41,000 apoaps. And we're just about out of our radial booster stages. And we've lost them, dropped those away. It was a clean separation. We are actually accelerating, if ever so slightly. Our time to apoaps is stable, so if we can keep up this burn, we should make it. Unfortunately, we only have so much fuel. Though it looks like we're not too badly off. Ah, there we go. Apoaps is above the atmosphere, so we can start to turn the rocket over some more to get some horizontal velocity and bring ourselves into an orbit. And it would be very dangerous to start with a rocket this big and unstable with physical time warp. Can continue turning this over. We're almost to horizontal now. And just need the SAS to hold us here. We're about 2/3 of the way through our fuel for this lower stage. But things are looking quite good. We are closing in on our apoaps, because we don't have the greatest acceleration with this stage right here, with so much weight on top. But fortunately, we have lots of fuel and this slightly more efficient engine setup, even though it has about 1/3 of the power of this lower stage. We're getting within 40 seconds of our apoaps. Fortunately, we're still accelerating. But we're going to lose some of our acceleration here soon whenever we drop these tanks. Continuing on, and there it goes. Leave that stage behind, continue accelerating. And it looks like we are going to start falling back to Kerbin before we get this launch done. But there's the moon, we've got to get to it. And slowly we're burning off more fuel, which will make it so we accelerate a bit faster. Probably should have taken out at least one of these fuel tanks. Like taken off this fuel tank and had just the two. Because this engine is relatively efficient and it would have saved us all that weight. It would have been quite a lot of fuel for just one of those tanks to be gone. Almost to hit our apoaps and start falling back towards Kerbin. Doesn't look very good here. Just gotta keep going. I wonder how well those engines work. They're somewhat obstructed. Because I could theoretically fire those engines. We are past our apoaps, we are falling back down to Kerbin. But we're still accelerating. We're gonna pitch up slightly so we don't fall back as quickly. Though it does look like we're getting pretty close to being in an orbit. Though now that we're in this smaller stage, we can time accelerate at 2 times speed and hope that we get there. We have a periaps. It is rising quickly. Go back to time acceleration 1. And it looks like we have an orbit. We're going to shoot straight for the moon with this one. We're lined up, so we should be good. Just going to keep burning. Now that we're in an orbit, I can drop it back down to 90 degrees and not worry about burning up. We're slowly getting there. We're going to do time acceleration 2 with the physical time acceleration. This rocket is much more stable than others. At least that bottom half of the launch stage. Genbull doesn't seem too terribly excited, but he's not falling and is not in quite such a dire situation now. Still bringing our apoaps up. We're getting slowly closer and closer there. Now hopefully this burn was correct, so we will hit the moon's sphere of influence here. But that will be seen at a later date. Still just burning out. I'll need to start pulling the throttle back here. Or first the time acceleration. We'll drop the time acceleration. Slowly getting there. We'll pull back the throttle. Come on. Give me something. Ah, there we go. We have contact. If we keep burning, will it bring us down closer? Down to 60,000 meters. 40, 28. We're going to go with that. And it looks like we will be coming into orbit in the correct direction. So we'll warp out with this stage and see what we get. Bring up the time acceleration. Warp closer. We're not going to make the mistake of warping past the moon. Not a very helpful thing. Let's see, where is the moon here? There's the moon. Watch it coming in closer and closer. Warp a little bit quicker. Drop it down. That's terrifying, seeing that looming up in the distance. What is our periaps still? It is still actually above the surface of the moon. The calculations can sometimes be a little odd. So we've still got 7,000 meters rather than kilometers as we're displaying right now. And we just hit the influence of the moon. And getting closer. We're going to bring ourselves down. Ooh. Yeah, that brought us down to 1,000. We're going to have to pull that one up a little bit. So here we are. We're going to burn slightly off of this. There we go. That should bring our periaps up just a bit. We'll turn a little bit further away from this. Bring us up to 15 kilometers, which should be much safer. You can actually see the space there. And we'll park it in orbit. And we still have quite a bit of fuel. And we'll use that to park us in a lunar orbit and then drop it. See, that wasn't so bad. Hopefully I did bring enough fuel to get back. That would be unfortunate not to be able to get back. Drop ourselves down on top of the moon. Point to retrograde. Bring up the throttle. And let's go full throttle. It seems like we need all that thrust. Just reaching down to 800 meters per second here. Still got a little ways to go. And we have an orbit. Now let's make it a slightly more stable one. Let's see, we've got 15,000. And if we can get ourselves really low here, we'll be able to just pick up exactly where we want to land. And be there quite quickly. So here we are. Oh, we're starting to lose our orbit here. We'll have to turn that around, because we don't want to bring the orbit down even more, like down to the estimated 4,000 meters. Because I'm pretty sure there are a few ridges on the moon that are that high. Burn a little bit, bring it up to 10 at least. And then we can warp closer to our periaps so we don't have to bring the periaps down to bring this apoaps down, like we made our mistake before. Though I forgot that we need to flip this thing around before we do anything. Flipping the spacecraft around. Bring up the throttle. Fortunately, we're close enough to our periaps that it doesn't make much of a difference here. Getting closer, getting closer. We want to bring it down to about 10 to 15. Drop that throttle down. And we've got it to 14 and 9.5. Looks like we're pretty safe here. And look at that. A nice parking orbit over the moon. And we've still got a little bit of fuel left in this stage here. So that's it for today's episode. If you liked the video, please do like the video. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to the channel, and if you think anyone else would like this video, don't be afraid to share it. This is Dauntless Sam. Thanks for watching.